he is going to toe the line and be a yes man and do whatever daddy tells him to
That's
do.
deal. They didn't look too promising to us. I'm talking about 300 billion to somebody for reconstruction fees. I'm like, come on now.
And I think that he realizes that he gets into another one of these Middle Eastern shit shows. I mean, his legacy is completely
Capitalize
tarnished, and
that.
he,
And then you finger bang the whole fucking Bitcoin thing to make all types of derivative products off
shit.
of
You know,
it.
they always say, don't ever throw any money out there that you're not willing to lose. And with
Yeah,
crypto, it's especially in that ballpark. I'm like, this could all go to fucking
for sure.
zero. So
That's the thing.
I
But again, I think a lot of folks going to say there's a lot of better things to spend $14 million on too. So, but I made a
yeah,
joke. I was like, welcome to government contract.
Late night lights on the PX sign. Grab a snack, make the mission in time. Boots on gravel, stories begun. One last lap on a Shoppette Run.
All right, let's go. Man, you inspired me, man. You did two episodes back to back.
I know, dude. I might start doing more solo stuff. Like I had my homie reach out and he was like, he's like, I kind of like your solo shit, dude. You know, because when you're talking to people, especially the way I do mine,
Mhm.
it's, 50-50. You know, some people are really good at it, some people it's not as engaging. If I do solo, I can control my own destiny.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the guy. I mean, think of any talk show, Arsenio Hall, late night or whatever. Every guest ain't gonna be a banger, right? So you kind of it's kind of a law of averages in that sense.
Yeah, yeah, I'll mix it up. I'll do all over the place. You know, there ain't no rhyme or reason. I just do whatever's clever.
Now it's impressive to sit there for almost 40 minutes and have a steady stream of consciousness, kind of talking. So that's difficult to do.
It is. It's kind of weird. Well, luckily, in the editing process, I can cut out all the times where I just stared at the wall and like thought for a minute.
Nah, I was geeked up. I was like, oh man, I got something to listen to, this week. It's always good listening to
Hell
people
yeah.
that you know versus, every other podcast you listen to, like, you don't know these fools and you already know those folks got ulterior motives, a click, could sell something and everything like that. So it's definitely it was good. But they both was good episodes. I just finished the other one. I finished the other one yesterday.
Oh,
So,
hell yeah. Cool. Thanks, bro. I'm glad you
yeah.
liked it.
No, 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 for sure. When you hit on the rest, as soon as you said the thing about the kids and discipline and sports, man, again, I got 5 kids, and my youngest one has been in sports, like I said, since he's been in elementary school, and I see that in him. I don't have to wake him up. I don't have to do if he knows he has to be somewhere or something. He's up. He's up before me most of the days or whatever, and that's just through the discipline of between wrestling and football and things of that nature. It's kind of in his rhythm of his day. So even on the weekends, he'll still get up early and he don't have anything to do. So I definitely see the difference in that. So that was definitely a good point bringing up.
Yeah, man. It's like that was my two pieces of advice. If you're a parent, like get your kids in sports and don't allow them to just endlessly bed rot, you know.
Yeah.
If you do those two things, you be all right.
Yeah, and even I always say even if you don't have a kid that's in sports, get them in something. If they're into Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, get them into those spaces where they could be with other folks and kind of get in those social interactions, with that. Because sometimes, everybody's not a athlete, but you have people out there that you just need to go find them. So,
100%, because that's my other boy. You know, he's not a sports guy. He's a marching band, but it works for him.
hmm yeah. And you say your son that started a job, so my son that started his job too. So he's starting to see the the paychecks and the taxes and whatever. So I'm like, oh, that light bulb's starting to go off. Like everything I'm telling you about now, now the lessons, the applicable lessons is coming to no, the words are meeting the actions now. Like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is what, everything is not free. When we go to the movies and we all go to the movies, it costs the price, and those price equals to hours. Now you see how those dollars equals to time, hours of your life. So, don't take that for granted at all.
Yeah, I know it. Because, prior to that, they just think money is just free. It's this frivolous thing that, is almost not even on their radar. They're like, dad's just going to swipe his card and we just get stuff.
Exactly,
And you're like,
right?
oh, snap. There's a whole thing that goes on behind that.
Uh-huh. He has a magic card in his wallet. We just do anything.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Hey man, like I said, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So appreciate you. We're just gonna do kind of a quarterly closeout. We coming out of the about the end second quarter here. So going to do a little bit different from last time. We're not gonna do predictions or whatnot. Well, it's kind of predictions, but it's gonna be a more fun way, I would say. So let's just go ahead and get started, whatever. So I'm just gonna put something
All
out
right.
there. and we could ping pong, thoughts as we go along. So, all right, the first one, I wish we'd have did this yesterday. It'd have been a more up to date topic. But all right, the Strait of Hormuz thing. Next 90 days, open close.
Back and forth constantly. I just think more of the same, dude. I mean, this has been a fucking shit show ever since it started. And it's like it opens up, it closes. We got a deal. We got a 14-point plan. Oh no, 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 we don't. Now we're dropping bombs again, dude. But I do think that I think Trump is desperate to get a resolution here. So I do think that we will start to see things move more in the direction of it being open and maybe even telling Israel to fucking slow it down a little bit, reining them in a bit,
Mhm.
because I think he's understanding. I mean, Trump's an ego guy, right? Uh, he wants to be loved and appreciated by all, and that's an important thing to him. And I think that he realizes that he gets into another one of these Middle Eastern shit shows. I mean, his legacy is completely tarnished, and he will just be remembered as like, another George Bush, Donald Rumsfeld type character that just
Mhm.
couldn't help themselves, but just start shit in places that we had no business starting shit in. So I think that basically his ego will kind of push things along towards some sort of resolution. So I think it will get to be open, but the path it's still going to be rocky, as we get there.
Yeah, I'm going open. What open looks like, I don't know. We still talking about tolls and all this other stuff. And I think for the same reasons you said, open and reference to legacy, midterms. And again, it's going to start being a super negative sentiment. You keep seeing it's kind of now it's a weekend war, right? We hit Friday, everything's good. We got a memorandum of understanding, and then we get into Friday night, Saturday morning, and okay, somebody's violated the ceasefire, and then we come to Sunday night, and it's like okay, we about to have another meeting and get back to the table. So, um,
Yeah,
uh,
what is it? The National Guard dropping these bombs or what?
I was gonna say that, but I want to disrespect the the National Guard War. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but the Friday, I mean, it's good for traders. I mean, it's creating the volatility you need to kind of get in and then get out the market, especially if you keep those patterns going. But I think folks are getting tired of it, and I'm pretty sure he's getting tired of it too, right? Hey, I want to hang my hat on. I got a deal done, whatever. I know that deal, that last deal, they didn't look too promising to us. I'm talking about 300 billion to somebody for reconstruction fees. I'm like, come on now. Really? And with that is if we I want to get I'll go there. If we saying that we decimated this, that, or the third, where is these threats keep coming up? We obviously didn't decimate them enough where they're still a threat, a naval threat, and probably fast boats or something like that, but we're still in and drones, obviously, but they're still having a naval threat to these vessels trying to get through there. So it's just ridiculous. But I think next 90 days is going to be open. I think that memorandum understanding was supposed to so we could do 60 days of more talks. So again, hope is not a planning method, but I would say it's open. And again, I think for legacy and folks are getting just tired of it. Like, come on, come to some type of resolution, even if it's not all the points that's going to come out of it is not going to be totally a U.S. favor. I just think folks just want to get on and get on with something else now. So, all right. So we're going to flow. I think we both on the same sheet with music there. So right into the second part of that is Pete Hegseth, employed or unemployed in the next 90 days. I'll start with this one.
Ooh.
So I think for the same reasons we said for the Hormuz, I think since he was handpicked, even though most of folks that had been either fired or resigned now was handpicked by the current administration. I think with this guy, it's kind of one of those things like you kind of gotta keep him unless somebody else fires him, but you kind of gotta keep him because you handpicked him. Everybody kind of said, "Hey, don't think this the guy." The experience might not be there and you still went with him and but I think we see a lot of questionable decisions coming up. We just seen what happened in the USERA with with the general retiring there. And so it's definitely not looking good in reference to the choices and folks wanting to, we military fire folks all the time, whether it's the, the not lack of leadership, but we lose that confidence in leadership or whatever. So when that starts to deteriorate, you definitely can be on the chopping block, even though you was picked by the highest, you know, highest person in the land, so to speak. You're kind of walking on thin ice, but I still think he'll keep him close to the chest until he's out of there. But what you think about that one?
I agree. I think he's going to stay put for the simple reason that he is going to toe the line and be a yes man and do whatever daddy tells him to do. He's not in a strong enough position to ever go against anything that the president says. So he will just follow orders and do whatever Trump wants him to do. He'll never question anything. I don't think he'll ever push back because he doesn't have the experience to push back. He's not a high level military leader that, going back to the Mad Dog days, right? Whether you love him or hate him, when Mattis was in, that was a high level guy with a ton of military experience, and he had enough of a background to where he could be like, look, we shouldn't do this or we should do that. Where Hegseth doesn't have that. He's just going to be like, yes, sir, whatever you want right away, no
Oh, yes,
problem.
sir.
And he's never going to, yeah, exactly. He's never going to question anything that daddy says. So I think he's going to stay put because Trump loves, having a whole bunch of yes men around him that will never give him any pushback. So he'll probably be safe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most of his problems going to come after the administration is kind of done. I think there's going to be a lot of retrospect, kind of looking at that 4 years and that time and kind of what happened, with the secretary, with the Secretary of War kind of role. So yeah, so we'll see with that. All right, let's switch gears a little bit now. All right, Bitcoin higher or lower next 90 days?
I mean, hopefully higher, but this has been a wild ride. They got their cycles and everything, and some folks will say, "Hey, this is all part of the normal cycle. We're gonna bottom out, and then it's gonna shoot back up, and it's gonna be twice what it was before. Maybe next time when it hits an all-time high, we're gonna be in the 250 range." But there's just still so much uncertainty out there. The population in general is like, oh, I don't know. And they're trying to develop policy on how we're going to handle crypto in general. So it's a big question mark. I think if we're just talking over the next quarter, I think it's going to go lower. And then towards the end of the quarter is when we're going to start climbing again.
Okay, I'm pretty on the same boat. Again, I'm going to my conspiracy theory bag every time. So again, and we talked about this before. I would think, at this point in time, when those things are getting to all the major institutions, it's kind of a too big to fail. But I think what's happening right now, and this is totally pie in the sky, that's outward looking in. Whenever one person, I'm talking Michael Saylor in this point, but every time one person tries to corner the market on anything, you're not gonna you can fight the banks, but you're not gonna be you're not gonna beat the banks. It's too much power in the banks. So when you want to put yourself out there as the guy of a thing and try to, I don't want to say monopolize because I forgot how many coins he got, but there's still coins flowing out there. But you want to monopolize that, and then you finger bang the whole fucking Bitcoin thing to make all types of derivative products off of it, where products where you're trying to give yield, where obviously that's how banks make their money, right? You put your money in a savings account, or whatever, and and they loan it out, this, that, and third. But when you're directly, that's what's going on with the Clarity Act. They're kind of fighting against that, right? So, but when you're trying to be the guy and you made all these derivative products and bastardized Bitcoin, and then you tell people never sell this, that, or the third, and you turn around and now you got your SRTC, and now you're talking about you sold a little bit, then you bought some back, and now you're talking about selling again because you got to cover, you got to cover the dividends you promised over here, and you just created a lot of derivative products that bastardize the whole situation. So I think they're gonna try to get this guy out of here. Not out of here like kill him, but out of here like break his strategy down because his strategy already broke. They already put chinks in the armor of his strategy. But to show that, hey, no, we're still the big dogs in this financial thing. You could come and play, but you can't think that you're going to be one guy sitting on top of the mountain controlling anything because we're going to take that from you. I mean, we've seen it with Sam Bankman, um, and numerous other cases where folks tried to be the guy, and you're not going to be the guy. They're going to find some way to break your strategy. And you take a company that wasn't worth a damn as it is, implement a Bitcoin strategy, and then it's made pie in the sky promises. But again, they won't crash it, so we could buy it lower because he was buying it at 120 and all this other shit, crash it so we could buy it lower. And then now we could offer the upside to our customers who wants it as a piece of their portfolio. So we'll see where we go with that. But that's why I told you I'm kind of standing on the sideline right now, waiting to see how the Clarity Act go because the Coinbase CEO and all the the banks folks are kind of fighting over that. And then Michael Saylor with this finger banging Bitcoin and kind of fucking up the whole look. So anytime he does something negative, it does a negative, he just automatically spews negative sentiment inside of the market. So we'll see where that go. But I'm on the same page with you. I think it's going to be a rocky summer. Folks are kind of focused on other places also. Got SpaceX and the AI trade and everything like that. That capital is working over there. So they're again cyclical type situation. We'll see when it comes back around what happens. So
Yeah, man. I think in my opinion, investing is the S&P 500 and, SpaceX and well, maybe not even that. That's a little bit of a gamble. But, blue chip companies, crypto in my mind, it is a gamble. I think even investing is too strong of a word for crypto because it's too much of an unknown. I'm participating and I'm averaging down a little bit here and there, but with some hesitation. They always say don't ever throw any money out there that you're not willing to lose. And with
yeah,
crypto, it's especially in that ballpark. I'm like, this could all go to fucking
for sure.
zero. So
Yeah.
I remind myself that, anytime I say
Mhm.
like, buy a couple $100 because it's low, it might not come back.
No, for sure. And I admire folks who are all in on a thing and made a lot of money on all in on a thing. I guess, that's through training. I'm always risk reduction. So I'm not going to put all my eggs in a basket. I'm gonna spread it around a little bit. So when something's not going well, so you have something else that's doing well. So but yeah, and then so we'll see where that goes. But I'm gonna roll right into what you just said. So SpaceX, next 90 days, higher or lower?
It's tough because I always tell people Elon companies do not work like any other company. It's completely independent. It doesn't follow normal patterns. It doesn't, fundamentals don't matter. It's all hype and it's all based on potential, not what's going on right now. That's the way that Tesla's always been. I mean, if you asked a traditional investor, should I get Tesla? They'd be like, hell no, your fundamentals are dog shit. But how many millionaires has Tesla made? A lot, like a whole bunch. And overall, it's done really well for anyone that's been in there long term. And I think SpaceX is going to follow the same pattern. Over the quarter, it's always going to be volatile, just like Tesla. Tesla's always volatile as well, but I don't think that there's going to be a major crash. I think that we're going to dip when we hit those sell windows. So
Mm,
there's all these sell windows when, insiders are able to release some of their shares because you got the lunch lady that's now a fucking SpaceX millionaire over there, right? So once she hits that 90 or 120 days and decides to cash some of that out, I think that'll cause some dips, but I don't think it's going to follow the typical IPO pattern and bottom out. I think it'll be volatile, but it'll slow and steady. It'll keep growing.
okay. Um, I think next 90 days I'm going with lower. Again, I've been watching the chart. Obviously, it's fairly new chart, so that's kind of looking. So it already touched its IPO. I know they offered it at 135 pre-IPO. I think when it came to market, it was about 147, ran up to two something. That's what I feel sorry for, because I know when you chase the hype and it's folks that got it. Again, if you have a long-term mindset and like, hey, I'm buying at any price because I'm gonna hold this forever, that's a different story. But folks who did the FOMO route and got it in the 200s, and then now you're seeing it back down to 150. I know that could be a blow to the ego there, or whatever. I think it's gonna touch back to that 135 at some point in time. And maybe even lower. Again, we talk about Elon, so but that's not new. The same way we talk about Bitcoin, and we've seen Bitcoin go down 50%, 80%, and ride back. We could look at Tesla the same way, right? We've seen Tesla go down 50% and then ride back up. So I think it's going to be the kind of the same rocky ride or rocket ride.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
I think it's going to be the same rocky ride, especially through the next quarter, next 2 quarters, when you actually got to sit there, peel back the books, do an earnings call, and and kind of say, hey, here's where we making revenue. And right now, I think the only thing that's like making no shit revenue is going to be Starlink, right? So, but I see they're trying to kind of branch out that business and that business model also. But I think again the different gates of releasing the money. So you got a lot of catalysts. So you got a lot of catalysts to the downside, right? You got the releasing of the different gates of when folks can sell out, and then you got now I have to sit in front of my investors and say, hey, here's what we're doing with this capital that we raised through public offering. Um, so um, so I think next 90, I'm going that is gonna it's gonna it, you're gonna get an entry position within the next 90 days. That's not that 200 plus. So
Hey, I mean, a part of me hopes it happens because obviously I'm an Elon fanboy.
mhm.
I did participate in the IPO. I didn't get as many shares as I wanted to, but I got that 135 entry point. But, I would love for it to come back down because all I'm going to do is scoop up as much more as I possibly can because I believe in the long-term vision. And they're cranking out deals even now. They just added, I think, American Airlines. They're going to put some sort of infrastructure into Puerto Rico for disaster communications type things. And Starlink's really the only game in town when it comes to that, and they're also
Mhm.
the only game in town when it comes to delivering things to space. And they already have this vast network. So the whole data center in space, I saw some designs for it the other day. I mean, if
Yeah.
they can crack that code and then interconnect that whole satellite mesh to where all your compute is in orbit, I mean, that's going to be insane.
Yeah, I've seen some mods also, and I finally seen somebody who actually explained it to, a fifth grade level where I could say, okay, now I see what you mean by data centers in space, right? Really, a rack on a bird with solar panels. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And
So,
there's so much infrastructure already in place, it's like it's almost plug and play. They just start shooting it up there and interconnect it with the other birds and boom.
yeah, I think every layperson gonna think, how the you gonna put a data center in space? Like, you gonna build a building? Yeah, but
Yeah, because people are thinking like a massive warehouse, and that's not
yeah,
what it is.
nah. But definitely long term, I see it being successful. But I think it's going to go through some trials and tribulations getting there. So,
Sure.
all right, let's lighten it up a little bit here. So, Lincoln Memorial Pool, blue or green? Next 90 days.
Black, because people are gonna keep fucking it up. Nobody's gonna leave that thing alone, dude. People are gonna be trying to destroy that thing constantly. I mean, don't they have like the National Guard or like the Capitol Police now like patrolling the shit
Yeah,
just to prevent vandalism or something
ridiculous.
crazy?
Don't put your hand in there. But so being as how the temperament is right now, I would not put it past somebody actually vandalizing the pool, right? I could see that happening. But at the same time is I haven't been to Washington, DC Capitol since 20 plus years or whatever, right? So I don't know what the pool looked like prior. I did see kind of when they was doing the pool and they finished it, I did see folks actually giving it props like, oh no, he was right. It does look majestic and looks cool or whatever. So, but to see where it's come to now, but again, that's a let me smear. I'm going to take both sides of the fence here. If I could smear you anywhere I can, all right, you spent 14 million on this. You building UFC cages in the middle of the lawn. You demolishing to build a new boardroom, I mean a new ballroom, right? So all that stuff is a factor when it comes to the ramp up to next presidential election. Okay, you're not running again, but I can still use you're in a group. So the things that you're doing are still gonna affect your cohorts when they kind of come in and say, I know everybody's gonna probably try to take the hands-off approach. Hey, that's not me. This, that, and third. I didn't agree with everything that he was doing, blah, 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 or whatever. But as still, as a group and as a cohort, you're going to have to inherit that those actions when you come in and try to run to, try to run to get the highest seat in the land also. So, but like I said, I wouldn't put it past nobody who got down there and, went there and vandalized the thing. But again, I think a lot of folks going to say there's a lot of better things to spend $14 million on too. So, but I made a
Yeah.
joke. I was like, welcome to government contract.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 14 million is, it sounds like a lot to some folks, but I
Mhm.
think people don't understand fully that's pennies in the government world,
Yeah.
especially at that level. I just find it ridiculous. Like, I understand that people really dislike Trump. Some people hate him, think he's the absolute worst person in the world. I get that. But it's ridiculous at the same time because he could, work with some scientists and come out with a cure for cancer, and there'd be half of the Democratic Party would be like, "Nope, I'm never touching that," just
Mhm.
because it has his name stamped on it. And it's frustrating how polarized everything is. It's like if the pool looks nice, then who gives a fuck, dude? It looks nice. Just move on with your
Mhm.
life. Like, don't you have a job? Don't you have bigger things to worry about?
24-hour news cycle. We gotta talk about something, man. Come
I know, right?
on. So with that, what you think about the kind of the Madani kind of thing that's going on, rent freezes, and kind of what they're calling right now, what I'm seeing in the news cycle is the rise of democratic socialism. So,
Yeah, definitely not good, in my opinion. Socialism has never worked anywhere. Full socialism, right? I mean, there's aspects of our government that's socialist to a certain degree, like, the fire department and the military and some of these programs that just kind of exist and take care of things that people don't really have to worry about. But there's never been a socialist or communist country that's ever been successful in the long term, and it usually always gets twisted into a dictatorship. So I just don't understand why people still think it's a good idea to try it out. And, I haven't dove real deep into it, but from what I understand, kind of at the wave top level, is people are fleeing New York. The people with money are out of there and they're going to Florida because
mhm.
it's more business friendly. There's less taxes. DeSantis is like, come on down here. You can get out of that shithole. We would love to have your business here. We're not going to charge you an arm and a leg. We're not going to screw you over with taxes. So, I mean, anybody that cares about their profits is just gonna leave.
Yeah, I think the layperson who's again who's never traveled outside of the United States, have never been to a country where where you have free health. Because we always use the word free. Free is never free, and free is never free. So even like if I'm stationed in Europe and I'm over there, and a lot of rave reviews about Europe, right? But there's a VAT on everything. If I ain't got a VAT form, the taxes is astronomical. So we already imagine we already complain about taxes now as they stand right now, right? And with the highest tax rate being in I think 30 some percent or whatever of the most high income earners or whatever. Imagine that on top of that, because I don't think US is probably the only one of the few countries that doesn't charge a VAT or whatever. And so just imagine your taxes going up to a full, no matter what, 50%. And you already constrained already when you look at your check and you got taxes going out everywhere. But now every time you go buy an item, you got a tax. You already got tariffs that's rolling down to the customer. Bring, you bring all these things. I just think folks need to go out and see another country who is socialist, semi-socialist, and see what they end up paying to have those things or whatever. So, but I think it is gaining steam though. I mean, I'm seeing it more and more, especially with that what has happened with New York with the rent freezes or whatever. Again, do I think all people need to have some type of affordable housing, whatever affordable is to your pocket, whatever, but you can't freeze rent. It's gonna rub people the wrong way. You can't freeze rent if you're not gonna freeze the other things that's going to increase the output or the input of the of the land of the property owner too, right? Because they're still gonna have to pay taxes. They're still everything with them it remains the same. But oh shit, am I still on?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, yeah, I hit a button. Yeah, so if you're gonna freeze, you gotta freeze the whole chain. You got to freeze the whole chain because what you're going to do is you're going to freeze something for a year or two. And what you think going to happen on that third year if it doesn't pass again? Now they're going to double up. They're going to double up on the 2 years that they missed. So it's going to be an interesting thing. But I see a lot of people kind of cheering that on, and I get it. I get it. I'm renting right now. If my rent stays the same next year, I'll be elated. But I already know in my mind that hey, this rent is probably going to go up a couple percentages just due to market conditions, right? I get it. So, um,
Yeah, it's interesting, bro. The great thing about America is it's this massive experiment in democracy and culture and how we do things, and it's gonna have to change. It's an always evolving process, but as we go down the road further of automation and AI and who knows what's going on with jobs, I mean, there are going to have to be changes at certain levels. And what that exactly ends up looking like down the road is like a big question mark right now. So maybe there's going to be some sort of blended system where the government is playing a bigger role in helping families and helping people with some of those basic needs. But yeah, I mean, what it looks like, I don't know. Because as you look at it now, again, it's like seems like a horrible idea. But if we fast forward 10 years and Optimus is doing all the manual labor jobs and AI is doing all the computer jobs, I mean, who knows what society looks like at that point?
yeah, even society now, folks, when they go to work, they working for their individual selves and their family. They're not in their mind thinking that now I'm working for the collective good of everybody. So are you going to change your mindset to I'm not going to work for myself and my family. I'm really going to the work for the collective of of everybody. I don't think that
Yeah.
mindset. I don't think that's gonna change. That mindset is going to change. So
Not in American culture. I mean,
not
that
at
might work in like
all.
Japan or something, but it ain't gonna
Yeah.
work out here.
Nah. Man, that's it, man. We got about 5 minutes left, man. Shoot the shit real quick. Man, hey, you got any? I know you into the biohacking thing, man. I'm finding myself getting a lot of like little micro injuries. Like, yeah, I just tore, I mean, not tore. I just, pulled my calf muscle. So I'm like, now I'm trying to doing all this thing about foot health and, all the damage soft shoes have done to me over the years and everything. So I know you into that type of stuff. So, any biohacking tips for anybody that this thing meet their ears?
Well, I always recommend at a bare minimum annual blood work to ensure that everything's straight, and if it's not straight, handle it. Just as a example, almost everybody is chronically deficient in vitamin D, so that's like one low level thing. But annual blood work, especially as we get a little older, mobility becomes one of the most important things to work on. So. I know some folks don't like it. It's not up their alley. I'm a big believer in yoga. I think it's great. People don't, they think it's like hippie stuff or it's for girls. Who cares? Get in there anyways. And worst case scenario, if you're a dude, there's going to be a bunch of fucking asses that you can look at. So win-win.
Mhm.
So like staying loose, staying mobile, obviously staying with your fitness. And then if you still are having issues, I'm a big fan of regenerative medicine, right? So I avoid like surgery or classic medicine at all costs. But then you're looking at things like potentially like PRP if you need to have a doctor look into something like that, or potentially trying a peptide. There's a stack where you can stack BPC 157 and TB 500. Supposed to be good for soft tissue regeneration, ligaments and tendons. You inject it subcutaneously, ideally near the site of injury. The only thing to keep in mind with those peptides is the jury is still out a little bit because the mechanism is increasing blood flow, so it increases like a capillary development or whatever, so it helps get blood to those places of injury. But there is some concern, so do your own research and know this, that there is some concern that if you happen to have a latent tumor, that it could also increase the blood flow to that. So
Mhm.
don't just jump on the peptide train willy-nilly. Do your research and know that there's never a full free lunch. There's always a little bit of some under the table cost that you might not know what it is right now, but there's always something.
It's not a tumor.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I'm immature like that. So,
Hey, I get it.
nah,
Me
man,
too.
man, the mobility thing is just, man, and I'm dealing with that right now. I'm like, yo, I'm really taking an active role in making sure stretch and mobility and kind of use it or lose it. Especially when I go to like the store and I see older gentlemen and things, and I'm seeing them moving kind of shuffling along. I'm like, yeah, that could be my future. I don't want to be that. So I'm doing the deep squats and everything like that to try to just make sure that, the joints still stay moving or whatever. So,
Yep.
all
Yeah,
right,
it's the same thing in defense. They say get mobile, stay mobile. That's how you stay alive.
for sure. All right, man, that's it, man. I appreciate you. You got another episode coming out, or what you?
Yeah, probably just dropped one a couple of days ago. Probably take a little break for the fourth because I don't know that I'll crank one out before the weekend, but I definitely have one shortly after the long weekend for sure. Got to celebrate that American birthday first, though.
Got to, of course, America. So, all right,
250,
man.
baby.
Yeah. As everybody say, like, comment, subscribe, and all that shit that they be saying. So, whatever.
Oh yeah, man.
All right, man. I'll holler at you, man. Appreciate your time.
All right, brother. Till next time.
All right.
Late night lights on the PX sign. Grab a snack, make the mission in time. Boots on gravel, stories begun. One last lap on a Shoppette Run. Coffee, candy, everything ends, but every run starts another tale to send. Lock it in, the mics have begun. Welcome to the last Shoppette Run.